The Nissan Murano is all new for 2025, but is this midsize SUV good enough to help turn things around for the struggling Japanese company? Well, let's go for a drive and find out. One of the biggest changes to this new Nissan Murano is the powertrain. Sadly, the V6 is gone. In its place is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder variable compression engine. It produces a little bit less power but more torque than the old V6 did. It's 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Now, the variable compression part means that the pistons can change how much compression there is. So at low RPMs, under light throttle, when you want efficiency, it has higher compression. But when you put your foot down and the turbocharger builds boost, it lowers the compression. It's a clever engine, but it also increases complexity. So I'm not sure how reliable it's going to be over longer periods. But when it comes to delivering power and efficiency, it does do a pretty good job. Unlike the old V6, the torque is down low in the RPM range, so it usually never needs to rev past 3000 to get going or to go up a hill. Also, on highways, it can get some pretty good fuel economy numbers. Officially, it's rated for 8.6 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway, but 10.6 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. Now, the highway fuel economy is roughly the same as the old V6, but the city fuel economy is improved. However, what I have noticed is that on some highway drives, I can get it down to about 8 liters per 100 kilometers. But because I've been driving it in mostly a city environment, I've been averaging about 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers, so a little bit worse than what it's actually rated for, but not that far off. Another key change is that the CVT is gone. In its place is a 9-speed automatic. This transmission is smooth at changing gears, but it is not fast at reacting. Whether you put your foot down or you decide to use the paddle shifters and switch it into manual mode, in the sport drive mode as well, it still isn't fast to react to your inputs. So best of all, just leave it in D and have a little bit of patience with it. In Canada, the Nissan Murano is equipped with standard I 4-wheel drive, while in the United States, it's optional. On city streets, the suspension and steering of the 2025 Murano has been refined to provide a bit less body roll and more driving feel. It doesn't feel like a lazy, lumbering boat of an SUV like the previous generation. That said, it's not the first word to come to mind when talking about a spirited driving experience. It's much more at home on city streets rather than a twisting canyon road. The highlight of the 2025 Nissan Murano is its ability to effectively absorb bumps in the road. It doesn't quite have the same ride quality of an SUV equipped with adaptive air suspension, but compared to its closest rivals, it is exceptionally smooth. Further aiding to the comfort are the seats. You just sink into them and they still provide good support. Additionally, in this top platinum trim, the front seats have a massage function. It's essentially only for the lower back area, but it does a good enough job of relieving back pain on long trips. Also, the cabin of the new Murano is remarkably quiet. Engine noise doesn't intrude unless the RPM needle is close to the red line. Road noise is prevalent on highways, but the noise levels are lower than in some other midsize SUVs. As for wind noise, there isn't any to be heard apart from a faint whisper from the passenger side A-pillar. My guess is the windshield wiper that protrudes a bit above the hood is what's causing that faint wind noise. The improvements continue on the inside of the new Murano with an interior that is verging on being a luxury interior. On this top spec platinum trim, nearly every surface that you touch is covered in leather. From the light brown leather that covers the upper portion of the dashboard as well as the door panels to the cream colored leather on the center console, the middle portion of the door panels, and of course the seats. But Nissan did let things down a bit with the gloss black plastic that's on the center console and a little bit that's right above the climate controls. Now these climate controls are the same ones that are used in a Nissan Ariya, and it's a capacitive touch panel with haptic feedback. I'm not the biggest fan of these controls. I much prefer physical buttons or toggle switches, but the fact that these ones do have haptic feedback, it does make things just a little bit easier to change something while you're driving. Doesn't feel quite as distracting. Of course, being a modern 2025 vehicle, it means that it has to follow everyone else, and it has two screens on the dashboard. One, of course, is for the infotainment system and one for the driver instrumentation. The infotainment system is Google-based, and it does allow you to customize the home screen, so you can change the widgets, for example, and have your own custom set of widgets on the home screen. But overall, it is fairly easy to navigate around. Additionally, you can control it in two ways. You can either use the actual touch portion of the screen, or you can control it through this little knob on the steering wheel. You can select these right-hand steering wheel mounted controls to either change functions in the infotainment system or in the driver display right in front of the driver. However, to control the infotainment system using this little knob and the directional pad is a bit of a hassle. So when you're using the infotainment system, it's much easier to just use the touch portion of the touchscreen. As for space in these front seats, there is more than enough, even if you are a taller individual like me at 6'4". I have more than enough legroom and more than enough headroom. In fact, this new generation Murano actually provides a little bit more legroom than the previous generation Murano. So it is very spacious in these front seats. But now, let's go check out the back seats. Unlike the front seats, the back seats of this new Murano actually have a little bit less legroom than the previous generation. But having said that, for my, again, above average height of 6'4", sitting behind my tall driving position, I really can't complain. Yes, my knees are gently brushing up against the back of the front seats, but they're not squished in any way. And the backs of these front seats are made out of soft leather, not hard plastic like in some other vehicles. Headroom, equally just as good. My hair is not brushing up against the headliner, even right here where the sunroof mechanism ends. There is a little bit of an indentation behind it, but even right at it, no issues whatsoever. If you are relegated to the center seat, you will be sitting just a little bit higher up than these outboard seats, but you will have plenty of leg space because the floor is basically flat. There are also a couple of air vents on this platinum trim, as well as heated outboard seats, two USB-C ports, and sunshades, or peasant blockers as some other people call them. Anyway, that's about it for the back seats. Now let's go talk about the cargo area. In the trunk, the new Murano has 932 liters of cargo space behind the rear seats. With the seats folded, cargo capacity increases to 1,798 liters. The Murano does not receive a spare wheel under the trunk floor, and there isn't really that much space for smaller items under there because the subwoofer takes up quite a bit of it. As is the case with many new cars these days, the Nissan Murano is more expensive than the previous generation. The SV starts at a smidge under $47,000 Canadian, and this platinum trim is about $54,500 Canadian. Now, that is quite a bit of money, but that is in the same ballpark as the Chevrolet Blazer and the Hyundai Santa Fe, and it's also less expensive than the Honda Passport. The standard SV trim is well equipped for the higher price tag. In Canada, it has power and heated front seats, leatherette upholstery, heated steering wheel, dual-zone automatic climate controls, a wireless phone charging pad, a power liftgate, and LED headlights. At the other end of the spectrum, this fully loaded platinum trim comes equipped with ventilated and massaging front seats, heated rear seats, leather upholstery, a panoramic sunroof, a head-up display, and a heated windshield, which is very rare to see on a non-luxury vehicle. Perhaps one of the most polarizing aspects of the new Nissan Murano is how it looks. It has this sort of retro futuristic look, and it definitely stands out because I've noticed quite a lot of people turning their heads as I drove past. Now, to me, I don't really like it. There's just something about this front end that looks a bit odd, and I can't stand those Nissan Leaf looking type of wheels. And also, one of my colleagues said that this portion right here, it kind of reminds him of the Ferrari 12 Cilindri with the black and the skinny headlights and all that. And I do agree with him on that. It does kind of look like it. But again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So do you like how the new Nissan Murano looks? Whether you opt for the SV, SL, or Platinum trim, the 2025 Nissan Murano comes equipped with nearly every safety and driver aid. The only exceptions are the surround view cameras and Pro Pilot Assist. These are not available on the base SV trim. Otherwise, the Murano has blind spot sensors, automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors, and so on, all available as standard. In the end, the new Nissan Murano is one of the most comfortable mid-size SUVs on sale today. From the ride, to the seats, to the quiet cabin, all of them contribute to an SUV that will reduce your stress on your daily commutes to work. It's verging on the edge of being a luxury SUV. It's not the most enjoyable to drive, nor is it the least expensive, but as I said earlier, it is in the same ballpark price range as the Hyundai Santa Fe and Chevrolet Blazer. Now, is this new SUV good enough to save Nissan? Well, it's a very good start, but I just hope that the polarizing exterior styling and the higher cost of this Platinum trim hopefully won't sway buyers away. But time will tell. In the meantime, if you would like to know more about this Nissan Murano, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car, truck, or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one.